When most people think of World War II defences, they picture machine gun nests, pillboxes, barbed wire or minefields. Yet beneath the modern steel and gunpowder was an older story, one that stretched back hundreds of years. Commanders on both sides turned to tricks that had been used in medieval castles and battlefields, reviving strategies from a world of swords, shields and siege engines. These methods proved that no matter how much warfare advances, the principles of terrain, fortification and improvisation never truly disappear. For serious history enthusiasts, this bridge between medieval and 20th century defence offers a fascinating look at how ancient methods were reborn in the age of tanks and aircraft. Moats and ditches found new life against modern machines. In medieval times, castles often relied on moats and deep ditches to slow down attackers. The principle was simple: force the enemy to stop, climb or expose themselves before reaching the walls. During World War II, soldiers found the same tactic useful. Only now the targets weren't knights on horseback but tanks and trucks. The Germans, Soviets and even Allied forces dug tank ditches, long, deep cuts in the earth with steep sides that could trap or disable armoured vehicles. Just like a moat forced a medieval army to break formation, a tank ditch disrupted an armoured advance and bought defenders precious time to counterattack. For anyone interested in practical application, the principle of a ditch remains useful. Farmers, homesteaders or survivalists can create similar obstacles to control the movement of animals, prevent vehicle access or redirect water during floods. It's an example of how medieval engineering recycled in World War II still applies to everyday challenges in land management today. Stakes and obstacles returned in the form of anti-tank defences. In medieval battlefields, sharpened stakes were driven into the ground to stop cavalry charges. These were simple but effective. Horses could not charge through dense rows of wooden spears. In World War II, the same idea reappeared, this time adapted against tanks and landing craft. The Germans famously lined beaches with angled stakes topped with mines, known as Rommel's asparagus, to tear open the hulls of Allied landing craft. Similarly, rows of steel or wooden obstacles were set in fields to force tanks into kill zones where anti-tank guns could target them. The survivalist today can see the timeless value of this idea. While no one is defending against tanks, rows of posts, logs or even thick branches can be used to control movement across terrain. Setting up barriers can protect gardens from wildlife, mark boundaries or channel movement into specific areas. It is a reminder that the medieval knight and the modern tank shared a common weakness. Both could be slowed or redirected by clever use of stakes and obstacles. The use of earthworks and walls showed the persistence of old fortress logic. Medieval defenders built earthworks, ramparts and stone walls to shelter their soldiers and protect key points. By the 20th century, artillery and bombs could tear through stone, but the principle of thick barriers still held strong. Soldiers in the Second World War built earthen berms, sandbagged walls and reinforced bunkers that were, in essence, modern castles. In Normandy, German bunkers along the Atlantic Wall functioned much like medieval gatehouses, designed to channel attackers into narrow zones while protected troops fired from within. For modern readers, the lesson is clear. Earth is still one of the most effective defences. Digging a trench or building up a berm can protect against weather, provide cover, and even create natural windbreaks. The technique has not changed much since medieval sieges: shovel, pile, reinforce and conceal. Boiling oil gave way to burning fuel in defensive strategies. Medieval sieges often involved pouring boiling oil, tar or heated sand on attackers trying to scale the walls. The principle was shock and deterrence, using heat and fire to break morale and stop progress. In the Second World War, fire remained a defensive weapon, only now it came in the form of fuel-based obstacles. Defenders created flame trenches filled with gasoline or oil, which could be ignited when enemy tanks approached. During the Battle of Moscow, Soviet forces dug fuel-filled ditches that became walls of flame, echoing the brutal but effective fire defences of medieval strongholds. A modern homestead application of this principle is far less violent, but equally practical. Controlled firebreaks, ditches or cleared zones designed to stop the spread of wildfires use the same thinking. By preparing a barrier that can be safely burned or cleared ahead of time. Land managers can halt the advance of fire much like defenders once halted the advance of armies. Camouflage and deception proved to be timeless strategies. Medieval defenders relied on deception, whether it was hidden gates, false walls, or the element of ambush. This art of misdirection found new life in World War II. Fake buildings, dummy airfields and inflatable tanks tricked reconnaissance planes, much like a painted castle gate once fooled besieging troops. The British used decoy sites called starfish to draw German bombers away from real cities, lighting controlled fires to mimic urban targets. The principle was the same as a medieval ruse: make the enemy waste energy on a false prize. In practical terms, camouflage and deception are just as relevant today. Hunters, campers or preppers can use simple cover to conceal supplies, disguise shelters or keep valuable areas hidden. The strategy is not just about hiding, it's about shaping perception, something that defenders in both the 12th and 20th centuries understood well. The continuity between medieval and World War II defences proves old knowledge never dies. What made these revived medieval tricks powerful was not their sophistication, but their timeless logic. A ditch still halts movement, a stake still blocks a charge, earth still absorbs force, fire still deters, and deception still confuses. World War II may have been fought with tanks, planes and machine guns, but beneath the modern hardware lay the same lessons medieval defenders used against knights and siege towers. The continuity reminds us that, true military wisdom is less about technology and more about understanding how terrain, obstacles and human psychology interact. World War II showed that, even in an age of industrial warfare, the oldest defensive methods still held their ground. Medieval strategies of moats, stakes, walls, fire and deception did not vanish with the castle. They adapted to modern machines and found new relevance. For history enthusiasts and survival-minded learners, these revived defences are more than curiosities. They're enduring lessons in how humans use creativity and environment to survive against overwhelming odds. If you found this exploration of medieval tricks in World War II defences insightful, do subscribe to In the Beginning and share it with others who appreciate the deep connections between past and present. History is never just old stories. It is knowledge waiting to be applied again.